Hello, and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse. I'm T.A. Newman, your host. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write adventures for others to play. We'd like to thank Syrinscape, whose tools have helped provide the background sounds that you hear. And if you'd like to become a friend of the Playhouse, then please support us on Ko-fi. That's kofi.com/Miskatonic Playhouse, where you can gain access to exclusive shows and content for as little as £1. In the shadowy realm of the Graves Hotel, the investigators are on the trail of a rough-looking man named Mr. Fife. After narrowly avoiding disaster, the team regroups and makes a daring decision to confront Mr. Fife directly, where their conversation reveals troubling connections to Sir Devlin and hints of darker dealings at play. Now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. Keeper, the stage is yours.
Dearest viewer, good evening and welcome back once again to the Miskatonic Playhouse. As always, I am your most humble servant, ValyGirl Heather, and keeper for tonight's ongoing tale, The Well of All Fear by Cat Clay. Tonight, we catch up with our investigators as they have just discovered a very strong connection of maybe all of these things that are going on, a deep conspiracy, if you will, with the Buxton Ladies Horticultural Society here in Buxton. But what exactly does that conspiracy entail? That is for our investigators to find out. So once again, I extend to all of you the invitation to join us as we continue this sordid tale of mystery and mayhem. Investigators, you are in the Roman artifacts room at the Crescent Hotel. You have just discovered that carved into the base of this beautiful statue of the goddess Artemisia, these stones, that each of them with Roman numerals carved upon them, and that those Roman numerals are actually a code bringing up 4 very important letters that seem to indicate in some form the Buxton Ladies Horticultural Society. And just as you triumph in discovering this code, a gentleman, kind of shortish, slender, dark-skinned gentleman has walked into the room. He is in a smart uniform and has introduced himself as Petty Constable David Farrow. And he has dropped a little bit of a bombshell that the Mr. Millwood, Henry that is, has not been the first to go to disappear about this time of the year. In fact, he is one of a line of young men who have, gone missing just about this time every spring, and he wishes to speak with you further. Where would you like to go to have this conversation?
Somewhere pretty private, I would think.
Yes. Does he sort of guide us in any direction, or?
He asked what were your plans for the day?
We were going to take a little stroll up to St. Agnes Well. I imagine it'd be quite populated with visitors, though.
Yes. Perhaps we could postpone our sightseeing till after this conversation and perhaps return to a more private room in the hotel.
Yes, or take a carriage. At least we couldn't be overheard, although there is always the danger of being followed, as we know that can happen.
Hmm.
The card room, he indicates, is not in use at this time. Perhaps we could slip into there.
Excellent
Sounds
suggestion.
suitable.
Yes.
Capital idea, yes.
And he, especially to the ladies, indicates for them to go first, as is proper.
Thank you, sir.
And all of you slip into the card room, which again at this point is quite empty. Cards don't start up until 8 o'clock, and it looks like the morning crew has already cleaned the area. So there are tables and chairs, and the bar at one end. A bit of the gloomy sunlight comes through the windows, which doesn't bring much cheer. Excuse me, but doesn't bring much cheer to you. But at least you know you are, as far as you can tell, alone. He pulls out a chair for Miss Chesterton.
I'll pull out a
Thank
chair
you,
for
sir.
Miss Penelope Azade.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. And he indicates for everyone, and he sits down. His face is very serious, a bit graven, as he leans forward a bit and keeps his voice low but understandable. So I have come to understand that you are seeking and have been asking questions about Henry Millwood. Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
He's
Indeed.
the brother of one of my friends, and, well, it's been quite a distressing situation for all. We've been doing
Yes,
what
she
we
is
can.
quite prostrated with worry.
Poor Miss Millwood. It is just really distressing to see her in such a state as this. If you have any information about the whereabouts of Mr. Millwood, or whether his disappearance is linked into these other gentlemen that you mentioned.
Yes. Miss Millwood contacted my office, contacted me recently, and I have been quietly making inquiries, though I'll admit many of many who may potentially have knowledge have not been the most forthcoming. And I do believe that maybe we can assist each other. For each of you are here, and I believe have invitations to the spring ball tomorrow evening.
Yes.
Indeed, yes.
Yes, we do.
I have reason to suspect that whatever may be occurring, comes to fruition, shall we say, at the time of the spring ball.
That does seem likely.
This is rather sordid, and generally not for delicate ears, but, and he looks at each
Miss
of the women.
Chesterton and we have quite stronger constitutions than you might imagine.
Indeed.
And we are to help our friend. So, go right ahead.
Yes, you need not fear any delicacy on our part, sir.
But for my part, please do not be too vulgar.
Of course, always. We must, speaking of these things is, I know, generally against proper etiquette, but I must admit I am in desperate need before another man goes, turns up in the state that the others have.
What
Last
state
year-
might that be?
It passed on. You see, while most don't normally, would not normally mourn, I know Miss Louisa is truly the most kind-hearted and Christian of women, I fear for her health, if this is not solved and solved quickly. But most do not notice, or don't seem to care to notice within the town, these gentlemen missing, as well, they are all of a rather rakish nature. You see, last year, Mr. Gravesend, young man, well, let's just say that he was well known to promise marriage to obtain, goodness, I dare say, give up their innocence, shall we say? The year before, 1811, uh, he was Mr. Smithy was the young son of a local landowner. Uh, I was called to him a few times, for he enjoyed and he really looks at the ladies and then looks away, kind of a blush comes to his cheek. He was known to cause injury to some of the animals around town quite violently. The year before that, 1810, a Captain Greenslaw. Well, he was quite the soldier, from what I understand, and was proposing marriage to a local gentlewoman, but as it turns out, was no captain. Turns out he was just the son of a local tailor who stole the uniform from his father's work and was attempting to infiltrate, I dare say, into the society. All three, and a few others from what I understand, but those are the ones I have been able to track down. Again, most wouldn't notice, but there seems to be a pattern, and I greatly fear and suspect that Mr. Millwood is next.
Terrible.
One could argue that society is better off without these people. Not that, of
My
course,
thoughts exactly.
not that we should, of course, condone their deaths. Was there any similarity in the manner of their deaths or where their personages were found?
Hmm.
Well, they're they've just, oh, I dare say, hate to say it, but
Yes?
they were missing their heads.
Their
Missing their heads.
heads.
Fergusson, did you not say something about losing heads or offering heads?
Yeah.
It was a vision that I had. The angel, the Roman angel, she said, "Give me a man's head." Some form of pagan sacrifice in direct contravention of the Ten Commandments. Thou shalt not worship any graven images. Thou shalt not suffer. Oh,
And also, thou shalt not kill.
Yes,
that
I
one
think
as
that's
well.
probably-
Indeed, and mercy being a cardinal virtue.
Indeed.
Although
Forgive
two
me,
explanations.
Oh, please continue.
Two explanations spring immediately to mind, and I'm sure that being a police officer, you will have also considered these. But perhaps number one, it could be a punishment of some description. Perhaps, as Mr. Fergusson said, if somebody believes that the local community is better off without these men, perhaps they are taking the law into their own hands. Or
Perhaps.
secondly, perhaps these men are being selected because everybody would believe that they were men who were always going to come to a bad end. You know,
Perhaps it is
would
both.
would one choose a justice of the peace or a respectable vicar or someone else, an academic or a gentleman? No, they would choose a rake. They would choose a cad. They would choose a man who many would wish to see gone.
Quite right.
I would think as well, but the truth is that while the rest of these gentlemen were of, well, I dare say that society is probably better off without their terrible natures. Mr. Millwood is not a violent man. He is while he does gamble and drink, perhaps to excess, but he has not been violent or made promises to young ladies and done terrible things. I do not put him in the same category as the others. Yes, he is a cad, but not a menace to society, though I do feel for Miss Louisa and what she must put up with her brother. Still,
This one is more personal.
How well known?
Perhaps.
How well known? Or how publicized were these deaths? Because if it was public knowledge that these men were turning up headless, could this be the crime of somebody copying the original?
An imitation.
Yes.
no, they all go missing in the days prior to the Easter weekend, and it is usually sometime after that when everything seems to go, well, return to its normal state, that the bodies are found. And it's quite terrible, but no one really seemed to miss them. It's a bit of a scandal, but then something else occurs and it is quietly swept under the rug.
It
As
seems
if-
almost blasphemous, does it not, on the week in which we celebrate the death and resurrection of our Lord, that, as Mr. Fergusson said, a almost pagan murder.
Sounds quite ritualistic, if
It
I
does.
may use that word.
Mm.
The timing and the manner of death.
Yes.
Particularly Mr. Fergusson. I don't wish to jump to any perhaps strange or fantastical conclusions, but the offering of a head to some sort of idol, it appears to play into the same sort of thing, does it not?
It does. It fits the narrative extremely well. Do we
False
know?
worship.
And if it's
Mm.
bringing in wealth, then there is reason why people would do it.
Yes. Do we know where the
Well.
bodies were found?
Various locations, generally just outside of Buxton, in the more rural areas. Um,
Mm.
the last one I found was here. It was quite terrible. Was off of the terraces, just a little ways out. We investigated the best I could, but well, let's just say, as I was told that it was taken care of and not to be to concern myself with it further, as the gentleman in question was, well, as I have described. I do believe that the constabulary above me decided that, well, it was better just to make it quiet and be done with it and to move on, as it would have been terrible for the ladies in question well, we wouldn't want to put them through any additional anguish, now would we?
Did it strike you that the bodies were concealed or merely disposed of?
This last year's, was partially concealed within the bushes and brush in its location that it was found, but it was less concealed than some of the others. Each of them have been subsequently found closer into Buxton until last year. And that is when I started, that's when I took it upon myself, quietly, of course. But I have been, well, I have been told to drop it.
Then the killers do not fear discovery. I fear we are
Indeed,
dealing
they may
with
be
a
getting
madman.
braver.
Yes.
I know where I would want to look. I think we all have a perfectly reasonable suspect in mind. Do we not?
Here. And he pulls out a piece of paper out of his out of his pocket. And that is, to make sure that I have number 10. He pulls this out of his pocket and holds it out, puts it on the table. I found this in my inquiries, near the, and forgive me, ladies, near the outhouse, at the Graves Hotel. Would it possibly mean anything to any of you?
Well, have you thought about looking at the crest on the top? Not the same as all the others.
I did, actually. So you see it too?
This
Well, yes.
Ladies' Horticultural Society, what do you know about it? We believe that it's associated with the Huntleys, but other than that, we don't know much about the society itself.
The society itself has been around for years. It's currently headed up by Mrs. Huntley. I believe her daughter is a member, as well as a handful of other ladies of the fashionable set. They host luncheons, the occasional ball or party, and it all culminates in the largest in the event of the season here in Buxton, which is the spring ball, so tomorrow night.
Which is a perfect place to hide a murder.
It's a perfect distraction, that's for sure.
Indeed.
The question now is, are we waiting until the distraction has started before we start hunting, or are we going now?
I don't think we have any time to waste.
I agree.
It would be prudent to act before any doom befalls Mr. Millwood. My only fear is that we have no introduction to the Huntleys, unless I were to pay a visit
Fergusson,
to Miss Millwood again to seek another
would
letter.
you like to spend a visit to Miss Millwood again? We can certainly go and get a letter of invitation if you really think it's necessary. But I hardly think that now is the time for etiquette, Mr. Fergusson.
All of you do remember you were just there at Huntley Hall for the Maundy Thursday fellowship
course.
gathering.
We were.
So all of you have actually been introduced to Mrs. Huntley. In fact, that's how you were how you received the invitation to the spring ball yourselves, because you spoke with her. So you all of you know, I'm not even going to make you roll for the etiquette. All of you know that introductions have been officially made. You have been invited to the ball, and more than likely, at this point, the preparations for the ball are probably well underway.
Indeed, I'm awfully sorry. I forget myself sometimes. I do indeed know. We do know the Huntleys, don't we? We shall.
Yes, we were invited by them.
Yes.
The effect of the waters still, perhaps.
Yes. I feel you are right, Mrs. Ed. I think.
If you'll forgive me, unfortunately, I must be running along. I'm expected at another location for a different type of and much less gruesome investigation. It seems there is the prized pooch of one of the ladies has gotten into another of the ladies' rose gardens, and I know, exciting, isn't it? But I would also probably be of no help, as Mrs. Huntley practically had me thrown out of Huntley Hall the last time I went for inquiries. So I do believe my presence there would be more of a detriment. But if you could contact me with any information that you may find, should you have need of me, please, I am readily found at the haberdashery shop. Yes.
Thank you very much for sharing this information with us. And well done for remaining steadfast and not sweeping things under the rug, as it were.
Yes, you are a true credit to the cause of true justice.
I do my best, my ladies. Thank you, Miss Chesterton, Miss Penelope, Captain, and Reverend. I look forward to your sermon tomorrow morning at St. John's.
Are we going on a side quest to rescue the rose garden from the naughty dog?
I think this is the most prompt attention that we should spend.
Yes,
everything else,
absolutely.
Mr. Millwood can go
Don't care
handle.
about the weird pagan beheadings. It's all about the rose gardens and finding the dog. That's what we're doing now. Sorry, Heather.
No, that's fine. It would not be the first time. All right. And he stands and bows and makes the niceties and slips out of the card room, leaving the four of you.
One to hold and one to cut. As midnight strikes and Mother Moon is high. This scrap of paper that he found. Now, if I hadn't heard the chilling tales of those bodies being found, I'd assume it was merely a instruction on how to prune a tree. But one to hold and one to cut. I think, Miss Chesterton, you're right in your assumption that there is more than one person involved in these killings.
Yes, if
Well,
these are
I would
all...
guess that it's one gentleman to be beheaded
Yes.
and one lady
Yes.
to be held.
Or perhaps two ladies, one to hold down the victim and one to strike the killing blow. If these are young, vigorous men, they will fight for their lives.
Perhaps.
They would need to be overpowered.
Unless they have also imbibed of the waters, in which case their restrictions
Course.
of their movements may be more pronounced.
You were
So
quite
they've been
weakened
drugged.
afterwards.
Yes.
Weakened and disorientated for quite a while afterwards as well.
Absolutely.
And as midnight strikes...
And Mother's
Well,
Moon
at
is
least
high.
we have plenty of time. If they must strike at midnight, as befits the ritual, I suppose we have until midnight tomorrow.
But we don't know where this ritual will take place. It could be anywhere.
Always the basement.
I see you've been reading some of the more sensationalist novels, Captain.
You have investigated strange occult murder mysteries before, I see.
Heading's routine in the Navy.
Headings certainly are.
Well, I do hear strange
worry.
things happen at the sea.
Well, quite. You hear some strange stories, and the stories are always head to the basement. Well, actually, the stories always run away from the basement, but I suppose if we're looking for the dangerous ritual, then it's probably head towards the basement. Unless, of course, it's in the attic. Sometimes they like to do it in the attic because the basement's too cliche.
Captain, I thought I'd heard all of your stories, and yet I'm starting to realise you must have quite a lot more.
Yes, I've got several stories to tell.
Fascinating.
Perhaps we should find an evening sometime.
We'll get back to that. It could be a basement, an attic, or perhaps somewhere at the site of the waters itself, if it is to do with the water supply and the image of the goddess, which could have something to do with the statue too.
If it needs to be done under the light of the moon, somewhere that either has some kind of oculus in the ceiling or else outside.
Credence to
We are
the
a garden society.
credence to the attic theory there.
Yes.
With a skylight or similar. Or yes.
Perhaps.
Mother's Moon is
Or
high.
a greenhouse.
A greenhouse.
Indeed.
Most dastardly.
Greenhouse.
Yes. Did I ever tell you about the greenhouse of my patroness, Lady Bagtonbury? And he leads you out
I
in the
think
room.
you did, actually.
Yes, I
Reverend.
think you've told
I
us this
distinctly
story a couple of
remember
Many
times.
times.
A
Many times.
greenhouse
Mr.
of
Fergusson.
most extravagant proportions, but
Shall we perhaps go see if Huntley Hall has a greenhouse?
Perhaps.
I believe
In
the word
fact-
was prodigious that you used, Mr. Fergusson, to describe the proportions.
So where are you headed?
Huntley Hall, I feel, is our next
Huntley
stop.
Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So you go out, acquire the use of a cab, and pile in and head out to Huntley Hall. So it is the day before the spring ball. So as the petty constable predicted, Huntley Hall is abuzz with women working and decorating the ballroom and the entryway, and everywhere you see people moving and preparing things. There are flowers everywhere, almost every surface as you enter in, as you can easily walk in the open doors as people come in and out, bringing even more flowers. You see them everywhere. And you see several, almost all these ladies moving about in with purpose, and they seem to know what they're doing and where they're going, and as they go. There are intricate displays being put together. You see them all very carefully placing all of the flowers in these beautiful, beautiful displays. Mrs. Huntley, you see, is off to one side, arranging various flowers, and something catches your eye. Mrs. Mackenzie, the housekeeper, appears, she's the one that's giving the order. She's telling each of the ladies as they come in with the flowers where to put them and how to arrange them. You see her going from spot to spot, telling the women what needs to get done, what needs to be fixed. You see Miss Cecilia Huntley, the daughter. She is also present and helping out. And Mr. Huntley, Spencer Huntley, that is, the son, is currently attempting to take up as little space as possible in a nearby chair in the room, reading a book, trying to look as invisible as he possibly can. Ruth and Penelope, please give me etiquette rolls.
Okay.
Where's my etiquette gone? Roll20 is loading nothing.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Give me a sec. My Roll20 isn't loading. I'll come out and come back in.
Yeah.
And that was a success for Ruth with 33 against 54.
Okay.
Oh, I might be able
Oh,
to
wait,
figure it out.
hang on. It's doing it. It's just doing it slowly.
Okay.
Right. And after all that, I failed.
That's okay. Ruth, you find it very odd that it's the housekeeper telling the lady of the house, the ladies of the house, and ladies of this level, what to do. Like, this should be the other way around. This isn't right. This is very improper.
And I will relay that to the rest of the group. How very odd. You would have thought that a ladies' horticultural society would take delight in choosing how to decorate and how to prepare for such a party. Not only is it improper, it is highly unusual for a group who allegedly delight in flowers and plants and gardening.
And as you share that, you notice Mrs. Mackenzie notice all of you, and she starts to stride over towards all of you. Go ahead.
Mr.
Mrs.
Fergusson.
Mackenzie, what a lovely, lovely room you are decorating.
Are you also here to help with the decorations?
A questioning glance to the rest of the group.
Do you need help with more decorations?
Well, we could always use help from new ladies, especially those who may be interested in becoming part of the Horticultural Society.
Well, it would be fascinating to learn more about your organisation. And we pop by to pay a call on advance of the party, so if we can help and help is required, then we certainly shall.
Of course, we will be glad to make ourselves useful.
Wonderful. In fact, how are your darning skills? Do you sew? Potentially polish things?
Possibly.
I should check my character sheet to see if I have sewing. I don't think I do.
But would you like to try to bluff your way and say you do?
Yes, why not? Why not?
How about a fast talk
fast
or
talk?
persuade?
I think
You are trying to pull the wool
just a
over
little
her eye.
bit. Yes, might as well go for fast talk then, although I do only have base. Does anybody have better than base and fast talk?
No.
All right. Well, in that case, Ruth is just going to put on a big smile and try and look enthusiastic and happy and charming and as though she's really excited. And she's not going to kind of big up her skills too much. She's going to be very humble and very modest, like a young lady ought to be in this day and age of the period. But she's going to say, yes, absolutely. I adore sewing. I couldn't say how that I can possibly match up to the standards of these wonderful decorations that you've already got, but I am enthusiastic. What would you
Wonderful.
like me to do?
Come this way. And she motions for Ruth and Penelope to come with her forward. She takes you over to.
What about the rest of us? Sorry to interrupt. Are we invited also? Or are we just standing here?
And she kind of stops and looks back. You can tell the expression on her face. She's a little nonplussed as she looks over. Well, if you wish, perhaps you can keep Mr. Huntley occupied. He does seem rather bored. And she kind of leans, her eyes kind of flicker over to where Spencer is practically got his nose up against the book, trying to not appear like he's even there. Come now, ladies, there's much work to do. And she takes you both over to a couple of to a table, very large table. Captain and Reverend Fergusson, what are you going to do? You're basically kind of left behind.
I will go speak to Mr. Spencer.
The Reverend will follow.
Okay. And we will get back to that in a minute. Ladies, Mrs. Mackenzie takes you over to a table, looks that has been put off to one side. It's rather long. And on the table are several white robes and several daggers that look ceremonial in nature. You see, ladies, I think there's a few small tears at the bottom of these robes. And of course, they are very important for tomorrow's festivities. With Easter comes new life and the purification that comes with spring and therefore must be properly put together. If you could, and she hands you a small sewing kit, Ruth, if you could just sew up the little tears at the bottom, that would be phenomenal. I very much appreciate that. And for you, and she motions to you, Penelope, here, and she hands you a rag and a little dish of some kind of of gel or salve. Here, if you could just polish up these daggers so that they gleam, because, we must use them to trim the thorns from the roses. And
Yeah,
I will
of
be...
course. Sorry, ma'am. I've not spent an Easter celebration in Buxton before, and I mean this all looks rather fantastic. Is there to be some sort of performance at the party tomorrow, or I've simply never seen such pretty knives before used for pruning.
Yes, well, as you know, spring does require from death to life, and all the players may do their part. For I know all ladies search for something better in this world, and I believe I know that has brought you to me, to us, to the society.
Well, I suppose if searching for a fine Easter celebration is considered something better, then yes, we have. And she just starts polishing a dagger.
We are honored to be considered part of your wonderful society.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I shall come back and check on you shortly. No, not those, not, excuse me. And she goes over, trying to, basically giving direction, rather, pointedly, and not the nicest, to a young woman, who is attempting to try to put together a very intricate, flower display. Captain and Mr. Fergusson, you go over to Spencer, who is practically shrunk himself as far back into this chair as he possibly can.
Mr. Huntley, pleasure. And I'll hold out a hand.
Huh? Oh, yes, it's your servant, sir.
Well, we've been relegated to keep you company, so I thought maybe you could show us all the interesting places that you have on this wonderful estate that you have.
You would be interested in seeing my experiments?
Sure. As well as any. What am I looking for, Mr. Fergusson? Something interesting. I find these estates to be rather dreary and dull a lot of the time. They all sort of are the same, and I would quite enjoy to see anything that you might have different to anybody else, or anything. Do you have
Wait.
anything to peek?
Yes. Please. Wonderful. Yes. And he closes the book and puts it down on the. Yes, right this way, please. And he motions to a set of doors that leads towards the outside. Well, it's wonderful to have others here that may be interested in the plants. You can tell he's good. He just kind of babbles on about his experiments with plants, but you can tell he is just relieved to have an excuse to not be in the room with all the goings on.
Your house here is rather a hive of activity, but I noticed that you yourself have not been called upon to aid the assistance of the decorations. With your green fingers, surely you should have a place in choosing some of the floral decorations.
Well, the society is, shall we say, ladies and ladies only, and
I quite see.
gentleman's touch is not generally welcome.
But I see you have been taking a more scientific route on them. Your experiments with plants, are these on ways to grow plants, to make them bloom? Or is there a way of restricting the growth of plants? Maybe a compound you have developed to hinder the growth or even to clear away unwanted plants and weeds?
Oh, heavens, no. The growth, the propagation, uh, the cross pollination. It's all fascinating, and especially around in Buxton, especially this time of year where everything seems to die off. I have been experimenting to try to keep things as healthy as possible. It's
So you're saying that
it's
this veritable Eden of a town normally goes through a reduction in the verdancy around Easter. Is this an annual occurrence?
yes, actually, as far back as I can remember. Uh, it's I'm not entirely sure. It does go against everything that I've read about the natural order of things. Uh, but that's why my experience. I do believe I'm very much trying to find ways, and I do believe I have actually hit upon something that may actually help. And he leads you off. Uh, he leads you to a side area of the garden. As soon as I can pull it up.
My dear Captain, I feel that there may be more to young Mr. Huntley's plans here than meet the eye, given what we have heard about the state of the gardens in Buxton at the moment.
Yes, I couldn't agree more.
Yes, he leads you over to a side area within the gardens. You do not see any greenhouse. It's just like kind of raised, slightly raised garden beds off to one side that seem to have been built for his purposes. There is um, a couple of tables where you can see like for potting uh, and tools are located. There's another table where there seems to be a couple of notebooks right now that have some writing in it. Go ahead and make me a natural world roll, both of you.
What? A natural world. Oh,
Natural
interesting.
world.
That is an 81,
Failure. 81 v 25.
sorry, 88 over 40 for myself.
Okay.
Can I
So-
try and push this roll? See how I do.
Nice.
Please, how would you like to push this roll?
Well, I'd like to get a closer look at the bed, so I'm going to bend over and get as close as I can to the plants.
Okay. You zone in.
And that is an 84 over 40.
You see the bottles and you see a couple of large glass bottles filled with water. The water itself, some of it actually looks yellowish, almost like yellowish brown, kind of leaden. One of them looks a bit more clear, quite a bit more clear. A lot of the things that you notice just by looking around is that the garden itself appears almost dead. Everything looks very dry and desiccated. The sun is definitely behind clouds. It is dark. It is gloomy. It almost feels like it's threatening rain. Um, this feels more like the middle of winter minus the snow, where everything is just feels like it's most dead before spring. But by now, being it April, even the most, average, non botanically minded person would think that by now there should be greenery coming through and flowers and whatnot. And the only greenery that you see is a little bit of very light green that is on some of these small potted plants that are on one of these tables. And Spencer is continuing to just babble on about various biological and botanical technology, technical terms. You're not really able to follow exactly what he's done and how he's kind of come to this. But obviously, whatever he's experimenting on has been working, at least on a very small level. He then turns to the two of you, and especially as you're looking at these small greenish plants and wondering why they're green versus everything else, when you see a very small vial pushed in front of your face, Mr. Fergusson.
Oh, this is the miracle that you claim to be able to perform on these dying plants. Is it what is it? Some sort of concoction, some sort of tincture?
It is, and with the blue, this beautiful blue. I don't entirely understand, but it seems to work. So, if you are so interested,
What is it?
well, it's a mix of herbs and plant matter and boiled, and he goes into and just starts going right into this kind of spew of scientific methods and various plants, and you can tell he'll just keep going. He
That's it.
finally, after a few minutes, goes, and that's distilled came to this with the waters of the spring, and then this, and it heals. It helps with headaches, gout relief, even brings these plants to life when, as you can see, the rest of the garden is, well, not as it should be.
Most fascinating, Mr. Spencer. Of course, you agree, Captain. This is most fascinating. Just tell me, these plants die back. Do they ever? We end up with an entire period from the Easter to the new harvest in the new year, where there is no greenery in Buxton at all.
Well, it seems that the right around after Easter, everything begins to grow again. There's just something that it's just very odd, but I don't. I'm still studying. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it Easter comes and winter lifts finally, and spring returns to the area. It's quite glorious, actually. Uh, I don't have much time. I only have until tomorrow, really, to study all this again, and then it all goes away and for another year.
Not that I'm not thrilled by this conversation, because it is genuinely very interesting. But I have spent quite a long time in here now. Is there anywhere, going back to my intrigue of things, is there anywhere that the ladies are specifically not allowing you to be in? Any places that are strictly prohibited from? I mean, as master of the house, you should, of course, be allowed anywhere, but I feel like they might be keeping you from somewhere.
Well, during the towards the well, uh, there are. I'm not allowed to. I'm basically told to be here. It's a ladies only thing, and honestly, I'm not that interested. I'd much rather be out
But I'm
here.
always so fascinated by places that I'm not allowed in. I don't suppose you could point me in the direction. I promise I won't interfere.
Well, you probably have to speak with my sister of my mother to find out more. I honestly, I'm not part of it, and I honestly
There's
don't
no, they
care.
haven't said, don't go anywhere, but especially don't go to the basement.
Why would they tell me not to go to the cellar?
I don't
That's
know.
what.
It was an example. I was asking if there's a specific place because you're allowed in your house where the ladies are working, but is there a place that they say, no, you absolutely cannot go in here? Obviously not their bedrooms or the lavatories. I'm talking something interesting. I'm looking for
Oh.
adventure, Spencer.
Oh, goodness. I don't worry myself about that. That's all the society things. Uh, I'm sure they go to their meetings, they hold their luncheons, and I am not invited. And I am outside of wishing Miss Millwood would Grace be part of this. Then I might be interested, but otherwise, my mother and my sister deal with all of that. That's all the society things.
I feel Mr. Huntley here is a true devotee to his scientific arts. Probably much better if we leave him to his natural pursuits, don't you think? I rather wonder what our friends have got themselves up to as well. I wonder whether it might be worth our while having a little snoop around the property of our own accord, see whether anything throws any light onto what's going on here.
And I will go ahead and for ease for everyone, I'm going to go ahead and put a handout into all the places of Huntley Hall. So it is readily available. Oh, there we are. So
Oh, there's a conservatory.
Oh,
there are the grounds roughly to Huntley Hall. And we're going to leave our gentlemen and head back inside to the ladies who are finishing up doing what they've been assigned to do with the robes and the daggers. As you are wrapping up, Ruth and Penelope, Mrs. Mackenzie, excuse me, comes over to examine your work. You think you see a flash across her face of, oof, not good, but, and then she seems to very quickly gather herself. Lovely ladies. Thank you so very much. Will you be joining us tomorrow for the festivities?
Oh, yes, we wouldn't miss it for the world, would we, Penelope?
Absolutely. We've been looking forward to it for so long.
I can assure you that the joys of the spring ball truly bring life back into your worlds as it does every year. The rebirth of the Easter season should be most excellent this year. And she kind of looks at both of you and leans in. So, the Reverend and the Captain, are either of you, is there potentially marriage involved? If I may?
Heavens, I cannot speak for Miss Chesterton, but marriage is certainly not on my mind at the moment.
Mr. Fergusson and I are just very good friends.
Excellent. Oh, that's well, you see, one of the joys of being part of the Buxton Ladies Horticultural Society is it brings enlightenment, power, liberation, even. You see, if marriage is not what you seek, perhaps we may be able to help provide another purpose in life, if you would be interested. And she pulls from a pocket a vial of water that looks a little bit yellowish and places it down on the table. while your companions are out in the garden with Mr. Huntley, perhaps you would like to explore what the Horticultural Society could be assistance with?
You'll forgive me. I'm not quite certain I follow your meaning.
This is the water from the sacred waters of Artemisia. It opens ourselves up to the life that is all around us. And if you are interested in joining the society, the first step is to drink from the sacred waters. It is just part of the initiation process, which I'm sure if you would like to be part of the festivities later tomorrow evening, this would be the first step to that.
I see. Well, your society certainly does sound intriguing and beneficial, but I'm afraid I already have a purpose in life and quite a goal in mind, so I shall not politely decline as much as perhaps request some time to think about it. What exactly would the water do if taken? You say it will enlighten us. Are you talking religiously?
The sacred waters opens up all women to the mysteries of the universe, the truth of it.
I would certainly be interested in partaking of these waters, but if it is acceptable, I should like to have a period of reflection first and to take this water away with me and drink it when I am alone so I can fully understand the mysteries and the revelation which is at hand.
Very well.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that is a splendid idea.
Particularly,
Mrs. McKin. Oh, go ahead.
particularly if we can be just alone together. Penelope and I can be alone together without the gentleman around. I think we would find each other's company most refreshing.
Yes, I quite agree.
I can provide a more private location for this if you would follow me. And she picks up the vial.
Or we could
And-
perhaps enjoy it in the privacy of our rooms at the Crescent. We might both feel more comfortable there.
Yes, perhaps wait a little while before we drink it so that we can be still fully experiencing the enlightenment when we return for the festivities.
Enlightenment sounds quite an intense experience, and I should hate to embarrass myself by some foolish response in front of all of these fine ladies.
Mrs. Mackenzie's face drops into almost a scowl, and she pockets the vial quickly and turns around and walks away from you both without another word.
Well, I think we've certainly confirmed our suspicions, if nothing else.
Definitely.
And she heads into a different room. About that point, the captain and Reverend Fergusson, are you returning in to the house? Because it looks like Mr. Spencer is he's reluctant to go. He begs off and says he would like to stay out with his plants for a while longer.
Yeah, I think we want to look around and explore, see if we find the conservatory, if there's anything in there, or just like have a general snoop.
It might be an idea if we can sneak into the conservatory through the carriage house, because in theory there should be a nice open door that we can sneak in around the side rather than going through the office and past the bedrooms.
Smart.
Okay. So you are headed that up. So everything is being decorated right now. So when you came into the foyer, it's the gallery, and then there is the large ballroom. Just to place everybody in the space. The table with the daggers and the robes that Ruth and Penelope were at were in the gallery. Excuse me. And all of you, the gentlemen were led out of the ballroom through some doors that lead out onto a deck into the garden. So right now you would be to go back in. You could slip in back through the doors near the dining room.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. And then you would head to whichever direction you want through the drawing room or through the billiards room, which would go back into the ballroom. So it is, which direction are you going?
Drawing room to then get to the conservatory.
Yes.
Okay. You head into the dining space. The room is being prepared. It looks for like probably a meal. It's, again, all this flurry of activity is going on. In this case, you do see that there are the male servants as well as, so you have the maids and the footmen are preparing the space probably for a large meal. You head in through into the drawing room. In the drawing room, as you're passing into the conservatory, you notice that there is one of the things is a roll top desk that is open, along with several bookcases full of books, some comfortable chairs and settees, as well as several tables. Everything is very luxurious, very high end.
Mr. Fergusson would definitely cast his eyes over the books as he's walking past, see whether anything stands out, almost just as a point of interest, because if he is going to be at a ball, he may very well find himself requiring some entertainment and distraction during the festivities.
So both of you, please give me spot hidden rolls.
Yep. Famously do well on spot hidden in this game. That is a 92 over 25. Not a fumble, but still not a success.
17 v 25.
Nice.
That's a success.
Wonderful. So you get distracted a bit, Fergusson, with the books. You don't find anything of note. You notice that there are several tomes of the classics of all different subjects, but the botany and anything plant related, science related seems to be larger than you might normally find. And quite a bit of, think mythology, classic tales of the Greeks, several things along those lines, but nothing really stands out to you. Captain, the books don't really attract your attention, but a pile of papers on the desk does kind of catch your eye. And I'm going to put what you find in the various locations.
Oh, Jesus. All right, here we go. They do not appreciate the complaints that this is too hard to solve. Apparently, everyone spent too much time dressing bonnets and not using their brain cells. Otherwise, they'll have to use the back entrance in the bathhouse, and nobody likes to be a soggy, sad sack at the ceremony. One to hold and one to cut as midnight strikes and Mother Moon is high. 8 ladies dance around the grave and grove tree. 1 man stands between 10 women, and from young blood blooms eternity. Obvious. All right. Well, I'll read that. I'll very quickly go and grab Mr. Fergusson
Oh, but there's a wonderful book
and
here
show
on
him
birds,
that
but
letter.
oh,
Fergusson.
the poem continues. And
Have we seen any tree that we might think, is there like one like big tree where it's like, this is obviously the tree of the grounds?
As you had taken some time around town before all of this started with the 2 ladies, one of the things you remember from one of the things you remember from your walks as you as you promenaded along the terraces and the general area, taking in the air, there was at one end a statue that, now that you think about it, looked almost exactly like or very similar to the statue of in the room in the hotel where the Roman artifacts were. It looks almost exactly like the same statue of the beautiful woman in Greek, some type of Greek robing with the coins in her hands. That was at about the spot, you think roughly, where one of the X's is. And it was right next to,
There's a map.
it's there seemed to be a very open area right around there.
so
While it had a small fence around it, you weren't sure if it was set up as a grave or if it was set up in such a way that there was the statue, there was the fencing around it, but there was still greenery space around it, almost as if it was marking some type of grave or didn't want people to come near the statue.
So that X on the terraces was where that statue was. The petty constable mentioned that one of the beheaded bodies was found on the terraces. Could it be that they deposited these X's marking where they plan to leave the bodies? But was this about a back entrance in the bathhouse, and nobody likes to be a soggy, sad sack at the ceremony? I fear that we have the poem dictating the ceremony, and by the sounds of it,
Yes,
it's
I
not
wonder if...
just 2 women. It seems to be
No.
10 of them.
Well, is it 10 or is there 18 of them? Are there
Oh, it could
8
be 18.
ladies dancing around a great and grove tree at one X, and then 10 women surrounding one man at a different X?
And 1 to hold and 1 to cut, adding an extra 2 onto that, making it 20.
That would make it 20.
How large is this horticultural society?
I'm willing to bet more than 20.
I fear you're right, my good captain. Should we maybe warn our fellows that they may be helping with the preparations for something much more sinister than we initially thought?
Well, I think on the sinister level, we're probably about where we thought we were before.
Very, very well, very well. Do we recognise this handwriting, Keeper? Have we seen... We've had invitations to the Huntley house before. Have these been in a similar handwriting?
The handwriting on the page with the Buxton Ladies Horticultural Society seal looks very much like the writing that was on the invitation for the spring ball.
Oh ho. Yes. Make of that what we will. But the question is, who actually writes the invitations? Is it written by the lady of the household, or is it written by the head of the household staff and then signed by the lady of the household?
That is an excellent question, to which I do not know the answer.
And I don't either.
Would I have any knowledge of when sending out invitations, whether the lady of the house would do it or whether it would be written by staff and then signed by the lady, given?
Give me an etiquette roll.
Wondering, pulling back in my memory. Very bad failure.
No,
I mean,
no,
it's not the 61 v15. It's not like an awful thing, but I didn't know if that would be something that I would have known.
You could push it in some way if you wanted to try. You could spend luck to get it.
I could not.
That's
Together.
If we had a look
I'm
at the papers on the desk.
thinking. Oh, we could do that. I was thinking specifically pulling from like a long time ago, from like life before, if I would know, because I should know how like houses are run and how parties and invitations are sorted. Which, like, the first time I don't like thinking about it, so maybe I'm like, oh, fine, I'll have a think.
okay. So you're gonna try and push it.
Oh, sure, why not?
Okay. So you really sit and think about it, and you get
Get a 41 v15, which is still a fail.
still fail. You try to remember from your childhood, what you might remember your mother doing. Trying to remember what you've heard or read about, the parties you have attended. You try to piece it together, but you unfortunately are just not able to. You're just with any degree of certainty, you're not entirely sure. Uh, but you do know the one thing you are absolutely sure of is that the writing, at least on the any of the pages that you've had that have the Horticultural Society seal on it, that handwriting is consistent across all the documents that have the seal on it that you've seen so far.
You know, I'm willing to make a bet that it's that Mrs. Mackenzie. She did seem to be the one running everything.
She was. She's calling the shots and overruling the master of the house. Even
She
as she is the true mistress of the house. I fear
Back to
you might be
while
right.
you two are talking, very quickly back to Ruth and Penelope. What are you doing once Mrs. Mackenzie walks away?
I think
Yeah.
I am still like continuing my task, but I'm trying to just keep an ear out at the conversations ladies around me might be having as they're decorating, trying to see if anyone is saying anything about like anything they're excited for about tomorrow or any like plans or worries that they have about it.
The one young lady that Mrs. Mackenzie seemed to dress down a little bit about earlier about how to put together the floral arrangement. sees you and hands you some flowers and yes. Can you put them right there for me, please? Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of
I'm so
course.
behind. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, all of us new initiates. Oh, I understand tomorrow's initiation is going to be incredibly special. I'm so excited, aren't you?
Yes, I think it's going to be marvelous.
Yes.
I cannot wait to secure my enlightenment.
Yes, it's our first ceremony too.
Yes,
Oh, wonderful. Oh, it's so good to see that I'm the new faces amongst all this old crowd.
of course. We don't really know what we're doing either.
You stick with us and we'll stick with you and we'll figure it out together. How's that?
Ooh, that'd be wonderful. Do you? So she's given you all the information. You know what you're doing. You're not nervous.
Not,
I'm plenty nervous.
yes. Can you remind us what it is exactly that we're supposed to do? There's so much to take in, of course.
Where
And
exactly is that we're going? I'm not
yes,
from the area, so all of these names and places and it just goes right over my head.
yes.
Oh, well. Let's see. We're supposed to meet at the statue. In time, we go into the sacred space. And there the initiation rite begins. And at midnight, all will be well again, and we'll be part of this, or I can be part of the society at last.
Fantastic.
She continues to put the flowers into the design, and then I'll see you there. And then she picks up some flowers and heads into another part of the room farther in, and is talking to one of the older women and begins to work with her in putting together another one of these very beautiful, intricate flower designs.
Well, it seems we at least have a starting point of where to go.
We do. But it seems that it's confirmed that is every woman in this town a member of this group?
Perhaps not every woman, but indeed most of the upper class ladies do appear to be, which would explain perhaps the cover-up. Plenty of money behind it.
Definitely. And this
So-
initiation,
Go ahead.
I am a little worried that I must apologize. I think I might have overplayed our hand. Speaking to Mrs. Mackenzie, she seemed very disappointed and took the water away. Do you think she suspects something?
Well, potentially. Or it could simply be that she was disappointed in us for not being brave enough to take the waters as she gave them to us. It could have been
Yes.
seen as a slight.
Yes, this is true. I suppose, shall we just take it with good grace or seek her out and try and gain her trust by actually drinking it? I am loath to suggest it after seeing what it did to the good Reverend, but
Well, yes, but if it all seems to be focused on the ladies of the town.
it does.
Perhaps it affects women differently. Although that said, I'm not
Yeah.
quite sure I trust all of this talk about enlightenment and the power of the natural world. I
No,
don't want to cause any irreversible effects.
no, certainly not. But I
Captain?
suppose
Captain, sorry, I'm going to jump in real
Go
quick
ahead.
here. Captain and Mr. Fergusson, you look through the rest of the rooms, making your way down into the conservatory and several other areas, and do not really find anything else of note.
Yeah, I think pretty much once we found the letters, we would have like briefly been looking through everything, but been sort of heading to find the other two.
Absolutely.
and you find your female companions in the gallery area near the foyer to the door outside.
Well, we've got the right place for sure and the right people.
Yes, we found some things as well.
Potentially.
Should we find somewhere more private to discuss?
Yes.
Back to the hotel, perhaps.
Wise.
I agree. Yes.
Yes. And we will bid a very polite farewell to the ladies still in the room and make a polite exit.
Okay. As you are heading out, everyone give me spot hidden rolls real quick.
Ooh.
Hard success.
Ooh,
And me 25.
Mine didn't load again, Beatrice.
70 over 25, a failure.
I also got a hard
Yeah,
success,
failure.
11 on 25.
Hey.
Okay. Those with a hard success or better, hard to extreme, as you are getting into your carriage and heading out, as the carriage pulls away, you happen to look out. You both are on the same side of the carriage that you're in, and you happen to look out of the window. And as you pull away, you notice a glimpse of a very shiny, well-kept black carriage with gold trim off to one side of the estate, heading back around towards the carriage house, out of view. And the carriage heads back to the Crescent Hotel. You know that at this point, you have probably the majority of the day. You've spent about half a day. It is now mid-afternoon, and you have a little bit of time before the evenings, before supper, and then the ball tomorrow. Reverend, you know you are going to have to be up rather early because the Easter is one of the holiest of days, and the Mass is quite long. And you will be expected to make an appearance very soon at the rectory. They're wondering where you have been at.
So before Mr. Fergusson takes his leave, he obviously, I'm assuming we've all, as we've travelled back, discussed our mutual findings. Mr. Fergusson suggests that if somebody has a chance today, we know that the initiation is happening at the statue. We know that the statue has a cross at it on the map in the terraces, and we know that there's a mention of a back entrance in the bathhouse, and I may be so bold to assume that the red cross on the crescent is at the bathhouse. It may be therefore assumed that that red cross might be an entrance, and he would suggest that maybe while he is off preparing for tomorrow's service, that if people want to go and have a bit of an explore, may be prudent to do so.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that is definitely the plan.
absolutely.
So you arrive at the Crescent Hotel. The carriage pulls up. Everyone gets out of the carriage. What is everyone doing? What are your plans? What is your plans for the rest of the day and going into now that you know what you know?
Well, I think those of us who are not required for church duties will properly solidify a plan of action. We'll sort of go over all the discoveries we found properly. I'm sure you relay the notes that you found.
Yeah, show them to you. I think we try and scout out the entrance.
Yeah, we go and see if there's that back entrance marked off.
Okay, so real quick, you head into the baths. There's lots of people there, but you wander through. Everyone who is going to that area, please give me spot hidden rolls.
Right, one of us has to succeed.
Success.
There you go.
1925.
Good,
Terrible
I failed.
failure.
You could spend luck to
Yeah,
succeed.
but you've succeeded, so
You could spend luck to like super succeed.
yeah,
You
but I want
can.
to keep my luck.
You
for
can
next
do that.
time.
I'm 90
You-
against 25. Total failure.
Oh, no, yep. It's unfortunately you are unsure of any of this. So you're looking around and you're not noticing anything. The rest of you, though, with those lovely rolls, do come across. You go through the bathhouse and you do come across what you think may be maybe a door. In fact, a set of doors. You look carefully and you are able to notice carved parts, like a carved section, lines in the wall that you're pretty sure is probably a secret door of some kind. But the best you can tell, it looks to be locked. There are two hands, just the hands, carved hands, both with coins, a single coin in each of the palms, kind of put together like this. At first glance, it looks like just kind of some type of odd statuary, but you realize that those are probably handles to those doors. If you tug on them, they are locked at this point. And you don't see anything else except when you look down just underneath the hands, you notice what may be some type of keyhole. But beyond that, you don't find any other signs of anything.
Well, perhaps we'll find a key.
Perhaps.
Or perhaps it'll be unlocked and we can.
Well, yes, if they're preparing for the ritual,
Yes.
and if it is locked, then we shall look for a key. I'm sure it shall be on one of them.
Or we can, well, if it is locked, we can get to the other entrance.
Yes, and try and make a more sneaky entrance.
Yes. But if it would be preferable to use this one.
Well, yes.
I think less people would be here.
Yes.
And hopefully we won't be sorry sods or whatever it was.
Soggy sad sacks at the ceremony.
Yes, quite.
All right. So after that, it's just in the bathhouse. You don't find any other signs of anything else, but you're pretty sure you have now discovered the back entrance to wherever this ritual may be occurring.
Nice.
And you head back to the Crescent.
Mm.
What preparations are you making for the next day, for the ball, or for what plans are you making for Easter Sunday?
Mr. Fergusson is, as visiting curate, preparing his sermon, adding some last finishing touches for communion on the Monday morning, but is distracted by the thoughts of everything that's going on, and glancing up at the shelves, notices that the rector has a fair number of books on ancient history, including probably a full set of Gibbon's Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, and wonders whether there might be any more information about our goddess who demands a head. See whether he can find any historical references to the worship of this goddess, whether there was any particular cult of the goddess here in Buxton. So just wants to have a quick flick through while also surreptitiously writing a sermon.
You do actually find, as you flip through the books, you do come across a story, as a matter of fact. The story talks about the goddess Artemisia, of ancient Greek. And she is the goddess of bounty, of the spring, of life, of of all that, the green and the growth, just not just the flora, but the growth and the life of the world in many ways. There's a story there about how at some point when a famine came through and crops were dying and people were starving, and babies unfortunately were being stillborn, and uh, plagues were occurring, all sorts of terrible things, that a young woman was weeping at the side of these waters. And a beautiful woman appeared out of the water and went to the woman, and the goddess holds out her hand and asks for a sacrifice of a man's head. And in her palms are each a gold coin. But the woman, unfortunately, didn't understand what this goddess was asking of her. And runs back to her town, her little village, and tells people what she has seen. And, well, the women there took it upon themselves to find the most terrible, violent, rakish of men, and basically cut his head off and threw it into the waters. And at that, it seemed the area came to life. People started getting better. The plague seemed to go away. Babies were being born again. The crops started to seem to grow. Everything became green again. And they took that as a sign. And it happened to be right around the beginning of spring when this seemed to happen.
Mr. Fergusson's blood runs cold when reading this. The realization that the vision that he had was exactly as this story foretold. The prophetic vision that these deaths, these murders of profligate young men are not just a one-off for the past few years. This is probably something that's been going on for centuries. And that is a lot of blood on the hands. And he's going to scribble a note just saying, found reference to Roman goddess, the sacrifice of a man's head, been going on for centuries. This is bigger than we thought. And he's going to pop that note, pass it to a servant, and ask them to send it straight to the Crescent for the other three to read. Because whatever we face tomorrow, this is something that's been going on for centuries. This is something that is so ingrained in the society of the town that what can us four mere mortals do against the power of belief?
And I think that is a perfect note to draw the curtain closed on as we leave Buxton for just a short time and close this episode. Thank you all for joining us, dear viewers. We hope you will return for the final episode of The Well of All Fear in due course. Until then, sleep well and good night.
Thank you for joining us for Act 4 of The Well of All Fear by Cat Clay. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please leave a review wherever you've watched or listened to this production. And if you'd like to support us further, please take a look at our Ko-fi. That's ko-fi/Miskatonic Playhouse, and our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, where you can find us on all the social media platforms with links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.